So, welcome back everyone. Back live, this time in the FENIX 319 and Microsoft 2020. And yes, we did get Discord solved. Happy to say that that works again. So we are going here. Brennel is already there. Urzi's here. Wonderful.
Hi, good evening.
So let's see. Brennel, I think Brennel is number 2 parking. Urzi probably 3. I'll move if I spawn on top of that aircraft. I'll move the aircraft. Hey Peter, just in time, yeah. Ghost, don't worry about it. You know, if it's too late for you, please. You know, I'm sure you got important things to do tomorrow, so I don't want to be responsible for people missing or not being able to concentrate. So let's have a look. That's not really an apron, is it?
It's not.
All right, let me do the following then. Let me move here at the fuel box. Can it? There we go. Look at that. Perfect. This should work, right? Gilend, good evening. How are you? So let's do panel state with APU activate. Cool. All right. All right. So that's that. Wonderful. Then let me go get the panel file. Stop. File open. FENIX. Open. Run. Cool. All right. Then next thing to do, Volanta. For the overlay, start a new flight. Add a flight plan. So there we go. Going from Sierra Echo Mike Charlie to Sierra Echo Charlie Alpha. This is only one engine out. Beautiful Ecuador tour. It's European West, as always. European West.
And Microsoft 2020, not 2024. There is a unusual big gap between V1 and VR this time. I have 109 V1 and 124 VR.
Yeah, it depends on the runway length, obviously. I mean, the first, so V1 is obviously, if I have a short runway, then it can be a lot lower than rotation speed. No. Oh no, Ghost. What are you flying? A380 or what? Says we're going to be in a... going to get a surprise in a second.
380 for this flight here is impossible.
SmartCast has an update, okay. So we are Avianca 711. Let's do 25. And the cruising level is, it's a short flight, 200 only. So flight time is only half an hour.
Yeah, very short flight.
But the approach will be interesting. We'll before we depart, we'll talk through the approach, see how I would fly it.
I have a very strange behavior of my flight simulator the last time. Okay. It is very often it freezes for 20 to 30 or more seconds, completely freeze, nothing else, and I'm already fearing that it's crashed at ESA, but then it continues. Any idea?
Anyone here maybe knows? I mean, it does sound like VRAM issue with the freeze.
But it does it only one time in a flight, and after that it continues as nothing. And strangely, your live stream froze as well, and now it continues. Maybe some problem on my computer.
Yeah, because I haven't dropped any frames, so should not be on my side.
No, it's on my side for sure.
Smartcast wants to do an update. I don't want to do the update now.
Yeah, but you have to.
Okay. We'll see. See if that goes. So, then Brennell said he had an issue with the performance calculations. So let me have a look here.
Yeah, maybe for you it is okay. For me, it didn't work. It didn't calculate anything.
Okay, so we've loaded the aircraft instantly. So zero fuel at 52.4 and 57.3 is the total weight. Right, let's sync the final load sheet, sync the weather, calculate. Yeah, so I'm getting speed, so 26, 26, 30, but that's for the A319.
Ah, okay.
So departure. We are flying.
Check arrival weather, black box.
Yeah, hang on. Mike, Sierra, Victor. So that's one. That's the NDB departure. And that's straight out departure. Yeah, we'll do that. So we'll take the 1 alpha departure.
Which runway do you choose?
Quickly check the weather. Then we can have a look. Flights. So here we have 210 at 6. Right, yeah, weather-wise, I'm not sure it is live weather. But
my choice was the runway 20, so you can depart straight out.
I think there's only departures to the north, isn't there? Hang on.
Yeah, only published to the north, but to the south you can depart straight out, visually.
So I only published. I'll go with it with tailwind, but I'll take the 1 alpha departure. Okay. And the weird thing is, though, I mean, it says on the report, vicinity showers, scatter 3000. But if I look outside, oh, someone just crashed in the ground. I mean, yeah, it has some clouds, but. No showers at the moment here. Ghost, is that you then? That fighter? Is that the surprise? Gotcha. Alright. Let me quickly check that we have yeah, a bit of tailwind is calculated. Now it says flex 62. The runway length is 2.5 kilometers, and currently, so the where's that? What? Hang on. There we go. Okay. So pilot view. I have to redo the views again a bit, adjust. So let's go back a bit. Let's save this. Shortcut. This one here. Save.
Black 62 this time.
Okay.
Can't believe that.
How it goes? Okay, take care. Have a great week. Still issues?
Yeah, again, it froze again. Still frozen. No, it continues. Crazy.
Does it rev up the cooling fans or something? Is there something?
No.
Okay.
Cooling fan stops in the second. Simulator completely freezes. And the stream as well, again.
Yeah, well, that means your whole PC kind of freezes up, locks up.
Yeah, but my mouse moves and I can switch, for example, to the browser or so. Only 3D freezes. Maybe the graphics card.
Strange, yeah.
No. So I will try to push back.
Avimar. So Avimar, what do you mean with what? How did it do what? So 1014. Oh, Yankee. So with Y. So Y slew function. Maybe it's Z on your keyboard, depending on what country keyboard you have. And then I use my slew controls to slew the aircraft and rotate it around. So 52.4, 52.4. CG is 31.6. 31.6, then 4.8 tons of fuel with a bit of extra. Oops, and then that's that. Wind request. So departure 02. And that's the Mike Sierra Victor 1 Alpha insert. Well, maybe it is better just to... I don't know, it's high terrain there, isn't it? So I'd rather just check the terrain situation there. Ah, it should be alright, actually. Right, disregard. We'll take southern runway. 20. No SID. Gonna climb to safe altitude and then direct to RP. That's fine. Cool. Yeah. So Dynam, thanks so much for watching. Have a good one. Sleep well. Good night to you. All right, runway 20. Packs on is fine. Okay, cool. So performance. Cool. Looking good. Not really, Aviamar. I didn't notice any problems with the aviators. Yeah, so quickly talk about through the approach here. So depending on the weather at destination, you may need to change the weather conditions because it only has one visual NDB approach. Okay, so we are arriving from Lima Oscar Juliet. Yeah, so we are flying straight to that beacon. Now, the thing is this. So it says visually hold at 12,000 feet. 180 knots, 1 minute patterns, all right? So landing 25 prohibited. So you can only land 07. The elevation is 4,000 feet. So in the holding, you have to go down to pattern altitude of, let's say, 5,500 feet. And then once you have that, you use circle. And I would probably say we're going to have to circle in the northern part. And then you just fly a visual approach from this. So as you're inbound, just maybe do a little bit of a kind of extension to the east. Get downwind at 2 miles, approximately offset. Then, yeah, like I said, we just have to see. Now, it does require a 10-kilometer visibility. All right, it needs to be daytime, and obviously, you've got to see the field at 12,000 feet. Because that's the lowest.
And read the note above the chart. Crosswind gusting up to 30 knots in the morning.
Oh yeah. Well, I mean, so imagine flying there IRL. That's crazy. I mean, so quickly checklists here. A320 normal. So we got the gear pins covers removed. Fuel quantity is 4,820. Come on. Why isn't it doing it? 4,820 kilograms. I was going to say balanced, but I can't get into the menu there. Yeah, balanced. Seatbelts on, and the bar F1014 set. Oh, that's so annoying. Why isn't that working with the mouse button here?
Like Gillen asked, we can't fly with the live weather. We need to use manual weather, otherwise we can't see anything there.
Yeah, no worries. Hey, Maxi. Yeah, no worries. We'll do manual weather once we approach the airfield. So before we start, park brake set. Take a speed thrust. We have 126, 126, 130. And flex 62. Windows, doors closed. Beacon is on. And that's the before start complete. It's kind of interesting how sometimes it just kills the mouse view. Alright, so let's do this. One start. So now the mouse. Okay, after. Oh, hang on. Disregard. We have the left engine running. All right, let's start engine 2. I had no problems with the FPS, to be honest.
So, ready.
Okay,
Takeoff.
have a good. Can see there. Have a good flight.
Thank you very much. Same for you.
Yeah, Glenn, we'll do manual with that. Do the after start flows. There's Reynolds. Takeoff. Yeah, Jelend, I'll do the same. I'll watch for your report, Jelend. Yep, he lifted off safely. Fantastic. So let's read a checklist here. Oops. So the after start checklist: anti-ice off, ecom status is checked, pitch trim should be up 0.1, and neutral. And that's the after start checklist complete. Right, let's see. Anybody else on their way? We need a lot of power to get up here, up the hill. Hello, hello. What? I think I'm stuck. Oh no. Hang on. Didn't I have collisions off? Where is that? Is that under flight model? Hang on. I'm sure I had that off, right? User experience. Lol. Failure damage. Oh, there we go. Hang on. Crash damage disabled. Right. Yeah, I'll do Y again. Okay, let's do it. Yeah, cheers. That solves the problem. Maxi, yeah, go ahead. Yeah, if you got any questions, don't worry. Ask a question anytime. Oh, I'm going the wrong way. Mentally, I was like preparing for the other runway initially. So sorry, whoever that is here. Just had a quick look around the airport. He's like, oh, professional pilot, yeah, right. From a real-world pilot's perspective, which Airbus do you prefer, the Taurus or the FENIX? Oh, really? You're planning to build a home cockpit with original parts? Okay. Well, I think it's not so much. I mean, if you're building your, well, Ghost is still flying along, really, in that red citation there. So, I mean, if you're building your own kind of physical cockpit, then I think it's just for the systems, correct? And of course, yeah, I mean, the amount of system modeling is obviously probably more realistic in the FENIX. I mean, it has more failures simulated for sure.
Home cockpit use, you can't use the FENIX because they have way too less variables to read out the speeds and the position of the knobs and so on.
Yeah, and also since using ProSim, you know, license, I'm not sure if you're allowed to use it kind of for you know, these simulator builds. You may have to get permission to do so. I'm not sure, but.
I know a person who owns a real cockpit at home, and he is using the flight vector in X-Plane because there you have everything you need.
Okay. I mean, the flight vector 320 also has lots of failures in systems modeled, so yeah, maybe that's also yeah, a good idea to look into. Yeah. Right, so let's do the text checklist. We have flight controls. Man, I'm stuck on the behind. I was trying to hurry up here, but right. So flight controls checked. Flap setting is config 1+F. Radar PWS is on and auto, and engine mode selector is normal, and eco with takeoff no blue. And that's the text check is completed. Lineup checklist cabin crew, prepare for departure. We have TCAS, TARA, and PAX remain on, and that's the lineup checklist complete. We are ready to go. Short flight time, 30 minutes. Let's go. Toga. Thrust levers aren't model properly. Right, thrust set. We want rotate. All right, gear up. Ghost, really? Oh no. Enough. Yeah, I'm going to go direct to DRP. There we go. Now let's have a look. There, thrust climb. 20,000. Blue. Beautiful, look at that. Lovely. Flap 0, speed check, flap 0. High terrain there, look at that. Altimeter standard set. Just have to quickly have to do this. So next step, climb, next step. Flex MCP, next step, Toga, store calibration. Alright. There we go. Thrust climb blue, first. Some people told me think about the TOLUS. Okay. Just bought X-Plane and they told us to get used to it, but now, yeah, I mean, you know, if you're happy with the system fidelity, in a TOLUS, then I mean, why not, right? But, I mean, let's face it, X-Plane definitely has a more realistic aerodynamic model. However, we are talking about visuals as well, aren't we? So it's sure. I mean, Microsoft 2020 or 2024 definitely has a more beautiful visual. Right? Yeah, but that's like, you know, I don't know why it was kind of not, because I've flown the 319 many times before. And I still use the Bravo honeycomb quadrant, so I'm not sure why it did that. So let's check the weather then for our destination airport. So we have Yeah, light thunderstorm rain, currently 8 kilometers and few 2000 CB, definitely, and even scattered 4000. Right, that's definitely not good enough for that approach. Now, the big thing really is, so you have to come in at 12,000 feet, right? That's the lowest. Well, actually, here you got some higher altitudes even, right? So I think we're coming in from the north. So let me just have a look here at plan mode, and then so we're coming in from Golf Lima Zulu. Yeah, here. So we've got to maintain 150 until we're close enough to then descend down to 12,000 feet here. Transition is in 18,000. So, yeah, that's definitely interesting. Right, arrival. Approach 07, obviously. We have no star and no buyer. That's all it is. Now, there's a couple of things, of course. You survived, Ghost? GG's. So there's something we can do here in the fix info. Just dial down the sim sound a bit. There we go. So let's do that. And then we'll check the track. It's 246 opposite, so let's do 246. So now we get a center line for 07. Let me just show you that here at the airport. So here we got a center line, there's center fix, and also what I want to do, let's see, we could yeah, I'm going to put just a 2.5 mile or 2 mile radius around that. And again, it's just there to give me a bit more of a visual cue for the pattern. So 2 miles should be okay regarding terrain. Live weather. I'm just curious to see when it changes, because obviously, you know, having thunderstorms obviously a big deal. Thank you much, Maxi. So Maxi, what's your favorite aircraft then? Obviously, since you're building an Airbus, but have you tried anything else? Here's Outstar. That shake. Crikey, hang on. There was an update today for Chase Plane. I have a feeling it messed some things up, to be honest. Ghost, oh no. Ghost wrote, okay, I took off and survived. Disregard, I'm dead. Oh no. It's still the Phoenix. Okay, cool. Do you see the flight directors? Yeah, I know what you mean. It is somewhat it is missing a bit of contrast, isn't it? Flight directors, yeah. But it's okay. On my big screen, I do see that. Yeah. Oh no. Ghost. Okay. What made you choose the aircraft? I mean, it's late. Like you said, it's late for you. So why did you choose that complex aircraft? But I can see what you mean, Aviamar. I can see what you mean. Yeah, it is a bit strange. Let's have a quick look here. Yeah, it looks like I don't have... What about color stuff? Oh no. Okay, I think it just crashed my sim. With game filter.
Too much during flight.
Yeah, well, never was a... That's what I mean, right? It was never a problem before. I could change the stuff here. But who knows? Maybe it was just with the update with cinematics or something, or the chase plane or something. Yeah, Ghost. Yeah, go to sleep. No worries. No worries. Right, sorry about that. Okay, let's see falling. I'm gonna go ahead and don't worry about it. We'll go and just go here. It's weird. I can still hear the sim. Just completely try hot F3 again. No hope. Yeah, I do have the NVIDIA app, and I know there's a setting there that I have to deactivate, which I have deactivated for sure. Like I said, it. So what I'll do, guys, I'm going to go ahead and restart the sim and then spawn in at that airfield. Because it's getting late, so I'm going to spawn in. We'll depart and then... well, actually, hang on. I can actually move the aircraft. Disregard. I've got FSI panel. I'm just going to put the aircraft somewhere along the track there. Yeah, that's fine. We'll do that. Hey, Beethoven. Yeah. Like I said, it's beautiful. I really enjoyed the stay at Cape Town. Absolutely incredible. Because I literally thought that I wouldn't be able to get there before October. So I was kind of speculating that... Yeah?
You found their penguins?
Well, the penguins were, you know, at the beach. It was like a tourist attraction. So they had a gate there. You know, it was enclosed, and so it was more like a zoo part at the beach.
I always thought they are at the polar regions, not in Africa.
Yeah, but these were like South African penguins.
Okay.
So it's obviously good for making pictures, but there were so many people there. It was very touristy, and then not really, you know, very natural to see them there.
Yeah.
Yeah, get Ghost, sleep well. Maximum braking, it is. Yeah, I can imagine, Gilend, yes. But you managed to... Hang on, Gilend, so did you manage to do that visual approach then, like I mentioned? So that is doable, right? Hey, he just took off. So he didn't land. I thought you quoted like you landed and you had to use max manual braking. Then I misread that. Hey, Brennell will be our guinea pig. Yeah, with the NVIDIA app, what you have to disable is the photo mode. But once you've deactivated that, it should be okay. So the 572 something. Yeah, I think I have them. Yeah, maybe I should roll back to the 566 again as well, yeah. I mean, I had a crash to desktop, even in X-Plane 12, which is kind of weird. But, yeah.
The latest drivers?
Not the very latest. I think I read something that they cause issues.
Oh, okay. That's weird.
But so the best ones up to now, yeah, the 566 point something. Those were 566.36. Those are working quite nicely. Yeah. What do you think about FS Project? Well, I mean, it's even though it's plastic, so it's not metal like in the real Airbus. Oh god, hang on, what is going on? Froze straight away. Oh no. Yeah, I think I have to. Oh, it's a nightmare. Microsoft Flight Simulator. I mean, it's probably not their fault. It's more the fault with the NVIDIA app. So let me just deinstall the NVIDIA app. I will deinstall that quickly and then we'll have a look. Friend of mine, as Beethoven says, German streamer had rotation Cape Town the last month together with another sim community member in business class. He had the opportunity to fly with the Riva and his crew and made some excursions in Cape Town. He had been on the jump seat of the 350. Yeah, I can imagine. Yeah, so I think so he flew 350 out of Munich. The thing is, though, they are stopping that routing over winter time. Well, wintertime Cape Town time. So I know that the Munich rotations are going to be cancelled over winter time. So the only rotation you have is out of Frankfurt. Can you please show once more your setup? Yeah, sure. So what I have is I have the Monster Tech MTS. And the cool thing about that is it's a rig that hosts, all kinds of, kind of connectors. Yeah, so I'm gonna have to make a video at some point because it's quite cool actually. Everything's so nicely set and sturdy, and it's very quickly interchangeable with other hardware add-ons. So, for example, I can actually set this up to an F-18 cockpit with the wing stuff within like 10 minutes. It's very expensive though. That's the problem. So when I first saw it, I was like in love with it, and then I saw the price. I was like, Jesus Christ! And then I contacted Monster Tech and I said, how about a collaboration? And then they luckily agreed, so I got a bit of a discount on that, but still I paid some good money for it. So I didn't get completely complete the discount. It was like a 20% or 25% discount or something. Yeah, but otherwise the FS Project side stick, which sits on top of the Warthog Thrustmaster joystick base, is very good. It's it kind of gives a nice overall feel. Yeah, I'm actually I'm dual streaming, so I'm streaming on Twitch and on YouTube. That's why you hear me sometimes reply to people who are watching me on Twitch. Yeah, I'm just thinking, I mean, so the only real hardware setup that's better than the FS project, including the water base, would be the Moser force feedback base with then a joystick, Airbus joystick on top, right? The thing is, the problem with that is the Moser base weighs like 8 kilograms. So the question is always, how do you mount that? Yeah, Moser, I can show you the... So I'm not affiliated, okay? I'm in no way affiliated with Moser or with Thrustmaster. So it's the Moser, it's this one here. It's a force feedback base. Up to 12 Newton meter peak torque. Now I use it with the DCS fighters. But again, this weighs 8 kilograms, and you've got to have a way of mounting it, right? So let me quickly do that, and what I'll do. So Brennan, I can see him already almost there. I'm just going to spawn here on the runway.
Yeah, I mean, it's in a circuit here, but it's kind of difficult.
How close are the mountains?
Yeah, I try to use the holding to descend to 6,800 feet, but I'm so close to the mountains.
Okay. So maybe it is a bad idea to take a 320 or 319.
Yeah, maybe. Maybe I should release from the holding here and do a freestyle 360 turns until I'm on a good altitude for landing.
Aboard the Captain Black Box Twitch.
Hey Lee, wie geht's dir? Greetings from La Palma, you lucky man.
Cabin, where complimentary drinks, snacks, and premium flight entertainment will be served. Thank you.
On La Palma.
Greetings from La Palma, BB711.
How's the weather?
11 thumbs up.
Lee, make us jealous. Come on, how's the weather? So what am I trying?
No, the weather is not that great on the Canaries, actually.
Okay, right now not so good. Okay, we'll see what Lee says. Right, active. There we go. So what I'm going to do, I am going to go select a fix here. Select a waypoint, new waypoint, nav 8. We'll select Golf Lima Zulu. So I'm going to try to Zulu the aircraft to 20,000. So that's going to be radial 234. 234 to 30 miles. Compute. Then we'll do 20,000 feet. 234 heading. Clean. Save. Validate. Move aircraft. Why not? There you let's move that.
Terrain ahead. Pull up.
That's a crazy approach.
Okay. Lee says it's quite rainy actually. Sun coming out tomorrow sometimes. Nice. Oh, you're going to fly to Gran Canaria in the ATR tomorrow. Yeah, make some pictures, please. Let me know how it went. So what I'm using right now is the FSI panel. It's a neat little app for 2020 and 2024. Right, ready. Let's hold the brakes for 3 seconds. And you can see we can also use that kind of to get ourselves into the air quickly. So now let's have a look here. So we have managed speed, performance. Perfect. All right, let's have a look. So I am going to put myself. Yeah, go ahead, Ronald.
I already have here 17 knots full crosswind on this runway. Not
17?
a great idea.
Okay.
17 knots. But I have manual weather and I set the weather to almost zero wind.
Oh. Alright. So I'm very, very close to the airport. Lol. So I can see low ceilings, guys. This will definitely not work, right? So 12,000 feet. Let's go down.
Not with live weather.
Yeah, I don't think we're going to see anything down there, so...
I mean,
Hey,
the challenge
Fishbone.
is not the weather, the challenge is the airport, so switch to clear skies and try it.
We'll do. Just enter the... Yeah, Lee... Okay, so rework pictures tomorrow. Okay, cool. Did you... Oh, Brenda, did you put wind to meters per second?
It is always meters per second, or can you change this?
Yeah, but how many meters per second did you select?
I think 1 meter or so.
Okay, that's not much then.
I'm almost 100 meters off the runway. I have 13 knots crosswind, full cross.
But how can you have so much wind?
I don't know.
Okay.
I think I have to pause the simulator and change the weather. It's impossible to land there. Still so much. What's that?
So the holding there is going to be that is 160 inbound with right turns. So that's the holding pattern. So the lowest we can go is 12,000 feet. Let's do that. 200 knots. Actually, let's do 210 initially because I need to go config really quickly. So fuel, we'll put 3,000 kilograms. No, I'll leave that as it is. And then we need to go and do, it's like 100 passengers or something. Yeah, there we go. Now, since we do have to do manual weather, because we don't see anything outside. Actually, hang on, let me just check. We'll leave live weather. Maybe we're lucky enough to have visual contact. You missed the chance to mission dash 8. Yeah, but ATR is also nice. I mean, maybe you've tried the ATR in the sim at some point. So let me put flaps 1, speed check flaps 1. Slow down here as we descend. Now, let's have a look here. So, you see, that's what I mean. Something's changed with the latest update of Chase Plane. I can do like this. That's fine, alright. A little bit of a rainbow. And so the airfield should be somewhere to the right behind us there. Hey Campbell, greetings to Halifax. No, not really. I don't think. Yeah, Brennan, go ahead.
Yeah, I'm down, but it was more a crash than a landing.
Okay.
It's almost impossible to land there. It's some higher hills very close to the airport. The runway is very narrow. Have lots of crosswind. I can't do that.
So
maybe the other direction would be better. I don't know. 07, I did the 25 or so.
Oh no! So only 07 is allowed. You're not allowed to do 25.
Really? Okay.
Yeah, so it's landing prohibited on runway 25.
Okay. Then I have a reason why it is prohibited.
No worries. All right. So let's do inbound. Now the white area means. So that's 5,000, so it should be okay to get down lower. But I think I have to do a manual weather in a second. Is Chase Plane still only for people that are, what's that called? Kind of 42 member or something?
Yesterday I looked after Chase Plane, but it is still not available for public.
Okay. So what I'm going to try and do, let's descend 7,000. So we are clear of the mountains on that inbound track. Let me try to get a hold of the runway. So 6 miles, and it should be across here. Yeah, I think that's the runway there, right? Though I don't really see the runway. That's the only kind of flat spot. Oh, here it is. Oh my god, it's so hidden. Okay. Right. So yeah, like now I'm seeing the problem. Okay. So this definitely is that's an airport you would never ever fly. Oh, come on. That's annoying. So 1015. So we are on live weather, which is fine. 23 degrees. I'm going to stay in the holding pattern for now. $260 at 7. All right. Minimum is visual. Here comes flaps 3. Leave flaps 3 initially until I can make sense of the there's the runway. Look at that. So what I'm going to try and do is descend further. So pattern altitude should be around about 5,500 feet. So I'm going to try to get into position for the downwind without hitting terrain, obviously.
Yeah, you can't get down enough on the traffic, on the holding pattern. You need to disconnect from the holding pattern and fly around the airport manually.
Oh. So a bit of freestyle today. Approach bar ref 1015 is set. Seatbelts on. We have minimum visual. Auto brake will do medium, then max manual brakes. Engine mode selector is normal. This approach check is complete. Right, so what I'll do, again, I'm going to try to get myself into position here. Probably going to have to do more like a teardrop pattern. This approach is more than just a little sketchy, Nate, yeah. Like, I honestly don't think that anyone flies here with a 319 or something. I mean, like, Paro, for example, is is like something crazy as well. But at least you have a procedure for that. Here it's like there's a runway, Yeah, and there's terrain. So, you know, like, so how on earth would you, how do you get the final to the final without slamming into the mountains there, right? So we're now at pattern altitude. So the idea is to get onto a base final. It's like a continuous descent. It's like a continuous dive descent down to the runway, really. I mean, just selected speed here.
Reno, then I ask how, at what side did you do the circuit? Did you do it on north side or south side?
Reynolds?
This was Julian.
Yeah, so he was, I think he asked something.
I haven't understood it, sorry. Please repeat.
And did you go on the south side or the north side for the circling?
Fox, can you please translate?
Yeah, which side did you do? The southern pattern or the northern pattern?
I did the northern pattern, of course. And then I tried to approach the runway 25, but it's not allowed. I didn't know it. I think the 07 is a bit easier because there are not all the hills in front.
Speed, speed, speed.
Oh, okay, so it's like a dive approach. Like I said, this is like a completely
200,
On standard.
50, 40, 30, 20, retard.
right, spoilers. And max manual braking. The bank angle checked, yeah. It didn't even call out bank angle, so
And you have not had that crazy crosswind like me.
no, because I used to yeah.
I had a crab angle of 20 degrees or so.
Yeah, I'm wondering, because I mean the airport is at 4,000 feet, right? I'm just wondering if it kind of did some interpolation regarding the wind.
Maybe.
Hey,
But I set the wind in the manual weather to 0.
So maybe because it's like sea level, and then 4,000 feet, he set just set some
maybe.
wind there. Hey Vrecker, wie geht's? Thanks so much for the raid, guys. Welcome. Yeah, we just did some crazy approach here, complete non-standard, way outside of my normal comfort zone, but at least we didn't crash. So. The Austrian, yeah, it's weird that Austrian Airlines livery. Yeah. Indeed, very, very strange.
It's good for training. When you can do crazy approaches, then you can easier do normal approaches.
Yeah, that is true. But I mean, you have to have a chance at least to get the aircraft down in normal manner. Because I was like, I had like, 1,500 feet per minute descent rate, right, about 200 feet maybe, even less. So you gotta be so careful. Yeah, but look at the brakes. There's smoking.
Good night.
Lee, Dankeschön, mach's gut, war der schönen Urlaub. So how do I get into the spot? Is that spot view? No, hang on, external. Oh my god, how on earth am I gonna get? So normally you have a drone view, right? Okay, there we go. Let's try that. So this is FSX. What's it called? FSX? No, it's FS. Or SIMFX. That's what it's called. SIMFX hot brakes. Or is that FENIX stuff? Rekka, thanks once again. Big shout out to Rekka. Guys, check out his channel, please, and thanks for the raid. I'm not sure. Is that like? Yeah, it must be SIMFX, right? But it's a cool effect. Hot brakes for sure. So let's see, what's the temperature say here? It's not even that much. I don't know. It's some of those combinations. Like, I know the aircraft wasn't heavy, but still we used full brakes, right? And yeah, I know it takes 5 minutes and longer for the brake temperatures to correctly show the temperatures. It does take a while for the heat to go through the discs to the pickup points for the temperature. But not gonna lie, if you ever get to outside check, or if you approach the aircraft as a ramp agent or something, and you see this, I would not go any closer, honestly. No, sir. I would keep a healthy distance.
Some people already died after explosion of tires.
Well, they shouldn't explode because they have maybe it was early days, but they now have fuse melt plugs. So when the temperature...
It was not early days, it was in the last month anywhere.
Where was that? Because and a normal aircraft tires, so if it's overheating, you have plugs that have some substance in the that melts and then lets off the air through the valve.
Maybe the tire had some cuts or so and exploded earlier.
I mean, that's a different matter, right? If it bursts because of a damage, rupture somehow, then yeah, and yeah, if that explodes, blah.
That's fine. No, I think there are 2 people died at the same tire.
Wow. Okay. Yeah, that's like
look at the report, and I will send it to you.
Yeah, thank you. Because that's definitely like a little bomb, yeah. If a tire bursts, yeah, for sure. Cool, guys. Thank you so much for joining the flight. Well, actually, it's just 10 minutes before midnight, so it's not too late. But yeah, this, as beautiful as it is, this is actually horrendous in the sense of the approach itself. So literally, I don't know. I think normally you'd fly here with an ATR or something, some small.
We can try it next time with an ATR.
Yeah, so I think that's probably better. Do you think SimFX is worth it nowadays? Yeah, I think it does have a nice couple of features. It does. So it does enhance the sim. So if anything, I would rather take SimFX than Chase Plane, if I'm absolutely honest. I don't know. I'm having more issues with Chase Plane and the setups and so on, compared to here. Like, so you have all these different things with aircraft effects, right? And you even have environmental effects. Contrails, extended contrails.
I will tell you, Black Box, they fly in and out of this airport with 737-300.
No, you're joking.
Yep. I just looked at flight radar.
Crazy. Hang on, do you have a flight number maybe?
Yes.
Hang on, let me just call up
flight
flight
number.
radar. Hang on, flight radar, and then I
Flight
want to see
number
the tracks.
Q. Yeah, okay.
Let me just get the map. Yeah, Q.
Q4876.
Starlink Aviation.
Exact. This is a 300, and they also fly with 737-500.
But so it's from Lima Oscar Hotel. Is that the same airport?
They come from Quito to this airport here.
Crazy. Hang on, let me just maybe have a look.
SECA. Am I correct? Yeah, SECA, exact.
How do I get to flight? I want to display the flight itself. So that was Q, so Q4.
For 876.
Oh, really? You have to be. You have to have membership
Really?
to display that. Yeah, because I want to see the flight track to see. So Airbus says they do until overflying the airport. Oh, because okay, there's no ADS-B receiver. That's why. Okay, that's why there's no tracks. Okay, that makes sense. Yeah. Yeah, but GG's if they fly. Hey Peter, once again, thank you so much for watching. Peter, take care, stay safe. Yeah, like Jesus. I mean, it's. I don't know if they probably have some company procedures or something, or maybe even. You know what you could do? You could arrive through the valley there, maybe. So maybe they have. Thanks, Peter. So maybe they have kind of a company procedure, an RNF or something, where they get to a certain point here, further away from the airport, but then they kind of do a circling with RNF points or something, kind of a company overlay procedure or something, and then be able to do more straight in. Because again, I mean, that circling, you saw that, right? So even if you get down low enough to almost hug the terrain there, that turn is just crazy. So I don't know, yeah.
But so maybe it's easier to go on the south side, because I also went on the north side, and then the hill kind of makes it impossible to do the turn, but the south side looks pretty clear.
Yeah, it probably is a better idea to go south side, yeah. Then you have a bit more room to get down lower. Yeah, that could be. Yeah, maybe they kind of do kind of a teardrop here. So they kind of go outbound, extend for the bays, and then come around. Yeah, I would agree, yeah. That looks more sensible, yeah. Aussie also, so Aussie...
Yeah? Oh, sorry.
And just like
Maybe
Aussie,
they don't do the turns in the valley here. They approach through the valley from the south, maybe.
Yeah, that's...
with the unpublished approach.
Yeah. I mean, you know, companies do have company approaches. So, you know, with some waypoints, that could be the case, yeah.
But if it's visual, you can then it's easier to do, right?
Yeah, it's just... I mean... Yeah, I mean, if you like in the holding and in the visual with the airport, you kind of circle down to a certain altitude and then you go on the 2.5 threshold, keep descending, and then just go kind of a teardrop outbound to the river, turn base over the river, and then just come back in. Yeah, that may work. Yeah.
I wish I'd known that before.
Yeah, me too. Right, cool, guys. Thanks for joining. Like I said, guys, stay tuned on Discord. I'll announce the next stream. So, yeah, I've got to go back to Frankfurt tomorrow for another round of standby duty until Tuesday. But if I get called out, then it could be longer than Tuesday. We'll have to wait and see when I'm back and then when I'm able to stream again. As always, guys, thank you so much for joining. Thanks for supporting, and stay safe, everyone. Enjoy the flight sims, and I'll see you again very soon. Good night to you.
Good night, Black Box.